Ladies and gentlemen, here are a few reasons why Niger can be turned into the next Ukraine. All right, let me remind you that over the past few days, we have seen a lot of news coming from Niger with regards to the coup that was done. And throughout the moment, we've also seen ECOWAS issuing a warning to Niger or sanctions, which the final resort of the sanction is to intervene with the military. Now, when the president and chairman of ECOWAS spoke, and after imposing some financial and border sanctions together with the military interventions as a warning to Niger if they do not restore democratic rule, these things have been trickling in my mind, and I've been contemplating on this. Now, we all know what is happening in Ukraine with regards to Russia and the Western world. Even though Ukraine is actually fighting Russia, but we all know that the supplies or ammunitions, the money, resources that are being used in the fight in Ukraine is being supplied by mostly the US and the Europe. And we also know the interest of the Europe and the US in the war that is happening in Ukraine, and that is the reason why they keep supplying or ensuring that the war is being sustained. Now, the truth of the matter is, Ukraine have been brothers of Russia for a very long time, and Russia only wanted Ukraine to maintain their neutrality and then exist in peace by drawing closer to an enemy or becoming brothers of an enemy who will spy on them. Was a challenge that made Russia invade Ukraine. And upon countless of warning that was given to Ukraine, which was never heeded to, this is actually what sparked the fight. And up to date, they are still fighting. And you could know that Zelensky actually is stretched and tired, but I'm not sure the Western world is ready to let go of the war in Ukraine. They would want to test the might of Russia to indeed see how far Russia can go. And so the fight is on. Now, you also see a wind blowing across the various Francophone countries in West Africa. In less than 3 years, we have seen a coup in Mali, Guinea, and then Burkina Faso. And when all these coups happen, ECOWAS sanctioned these countries that I've mentioned. But the truth of the matter is, the countries did not heed to ECOWAS call. When ECOWAS told them to restore to civilian rule or democratic rule, Domboya of Guinea never mind ECOWAS. When ECOWAS told them to restore power or restore to civilian rule in Burkina Faso, Mali, none of them heeded to their call. Rather, what Burkina Faso did was to invite the Russian mercenary group, that is the Wagner, to help in their security. They instructed France to move out of the country and then rather invited the Russia Wagner group to protect them in terms of security. So the Francophone countries, what they are doing is to take out all the French elements from their territories, because they believe that from the colonial days till now, they haven't seen a real support from the French, which has transformed their life to a point they want or expected. And so they feel that imperialists have been a thorn in their flesh and have not been helping them. So this is the opportunity to clear them and form new partnership or new friendship to enable them be themselves and find a way of surviving in order to maximize the resources available on their land. So it is a point for them to let French people go. I know the French don't understand. The French would really want to stay, but per the various Francophone countries which have been involved in coup, they see no reason why French should stay, and therefore French should go. If French is going, more of them are drifting towards Russia. Now, Russia, because Russia has had past in Africa of supporting African countries to fight imperialists. You could see this in South Africa, apartheid South Africa. Russia helped so much, and many other countries, including Zimbabwe and the like. So Russia kind of have some kind of good relationship with Africa. So many of them are drifting towards Russia, especially for protection in terms of security, and then China for infrastructure development. It all comes with its advantage and disadvantage. Now, in Niger, where ECOWAS says that if they don't go back to military rule, Tinubu is telling them that then the military will strike. This morning or yesterday, we heard that Mali and Burkina Faso has declared solidarity support for Niger, which then means that if there is any attack, Burkina Faso and then Mali are going to support Niger to fight the ECOWAS soldiers. Now, we've also seen information going around which then says that Wagner is going to be present in Niger. So when Wagner comes to Niger, then we have Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and Niger with the huge presence of Wagner in those places. Now, one thing ECOWAS would have to appreciate is it is going to be very difficult to defeat Burkina Faso, Mali, the Niger troops together with Wagner. In the element of Wagner in it, this is going to be very difficult. No matter the support they get from France, the Western countries, and all that. But my pain is when this happened, you realize that now countries fighting for an interest and then using Niger as a place for this fight. So the fight that took place in Ukraine, now they are taking the fight back to Africa, and then Niger now becomes the battlegrounds. Do you understand? Yes. So the Russia-Ukraine war, interest behind the scene, that is Ukraine being supported by the Western world. Now you find ECOWAS being supported by the Western world to fight against those who are also supported by Russia, and then now it becomes a proxy war in Niger. This is an issue of concern that all of us have to appreciate. You see, no one can actually say who is actually winning, but the truth of the matter is Russia in Ukraine keeps making advances. Ukraine is actually struggling. Now, when it happens like that, and then Niger also begins to fight, while the interest of the Western world is with ECOWAS, and then that of the Soviet Union is with Niger, what's going to happen is all of us would have to know that this will be a destabilization element in the ECOWAS region. Ghana would have to appreciate that our military will be asked to go and support Nigeria. You'll be asked to go and support West African countries who are with ECOWAS or in support of the Western space will be told to go and support. And let me tell you, if you bring it down, you have to be concerned about your brother who is a soldier who might not survive. There's a possibility. You might be concerned with your brother or your father who is a soldier who might not survive. So we would have to be careful, especially ECOWAS, in terms of the military intervention that it has announced. I am believing that that is going to be the last resort. But I promise you, if it comes to military intervention, ECOWAS might struggle. Trust me. And all of us would have to be careful and then protect this motherland and know that time has come for us to form partnership or friendship that is going to positively affect our lives, not necessarily what anybody wants. If a partnership with China is what is going to help Africa, Africa will have to determine its own destiny. Africa will have to become master of its own destiny and decide the path to chart, not for anybody to force us into where we have to go. So throughout the moment where this is happening, this is what I'm thinking, that we have to actually allow Africans to form their new friends they want. Do you understand? The coups which happened in the 60s are much different from the coups that are happening today. The 60s were motivated by the Western world, but the coups of today seems to be pushed by the citizens of respective countries. So I think that all of us should be careful into how we criticize and analyze these whole issues, and then we should be able to appreciate the proxy implication of this whole war. My name is Kwame Ofer. Thanks for being part. I believe now you appreciate why this can be the next proxy war and why this could be similar to the Ukraine war. Ladies and gentlemen, take good care of yourself. Let's pray for Africa and then hope that Africa becomes better and then becomes united once again. And then our resources available to us can be maximized to our own benefit. Big thank you.